The stale air of the abandoned warehouse hung thick with the scent of rust and decay. Moonlight sliced through the grimy windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the silence. Then, a ripple disturbed the stillness. A shimmer, a distortion, and a figure solidified in the center of the room. It was the T-1000, chrome skin gleaming faintly in the dim light. Its eyes, cold and calculating, scanned the environment, assessing threats and potential escape routes in milliseconds. Its mission: eliminate the target. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the rafters. The T-1000's head snapped up, its metallic gaze focusing on a swirling patch of darkness clinging to the beams. Shadow the Hedgehog dropped to the concrete floor, landing silently. His red eyes burned with an unnatural intensity, narrowed in a glare that could freeze hell over. Chaos energy crackled around him, a visible aura of power. He crossed his arms, a smirk playing on his lips. "You lost, Chrome Dome." Shadow's voice was a low, dangerous rasp. The T-1000 tilted its head slightly, processing the Hedgehog's appearance. Its internal database searched for a matching file. Nothing. Unknown entity. Initial assessment, hostile.e. Its voice was a flat, toneless drone. Hostile? You haven't seen anything yet. Shadow chuckled, a sound that held no humor. Who sent you? The T-1000 didn't respond. Instead, its hand began to morph. The smooth chrome flowed and restructured, forming a long, gleaming blade. "Figures," Shadow muttered. "Guess I'll just have to knock it out of you." He unleashed a burst of chaos control, momentarily freezing time around him. He sped towards the T-1000, a blur of black fur and crimson energy. He delivered a powerful kick to the machine's chest, the impact resonating through the warehouse. The T-1000 staggered back only slightly. The blade arced towards Shadow, a silent, deadly promise. Shadow warped away using chaos control, reappearing behind the T-1000. He launched another kick, aiming for the back of its knee. The chrome dented, but the T-1000 remained standing, reforming the damaged area almost instantly. Resilient, Shadow observed, impressed but not deterred. The machine was adapting, learning his attack patterns. The T-1000 retaliated, its blade a whirlwind of silver death. Shadow dodged and weaved, using his superior speed and chaos control to stay one step ahead. He realized direct attacks weren't working. This thing was nearly indestructible. "Time for a different approach," he said, a new plan forming in his mind. He used Chaos Sphere, firing bolts of pure chaos energy at the T-1000. The energy scorched the chrome, leaving temporary marks, but the machine continued its relentless advance. Shadow led the T-1000 on a chase through the warehouse, using his speed to lure it deeper into the labyrinthine interior. He wanted to isolate it. He finally stopped near a large, rusting vat filled with a toxic-looking sludge. An idea sparked in his mind. He goaded the T-1000, taunting it with his signature arrogance. "Come on, Tin Man. Is that all you've got?" Enraged, or as close as a machine could get to being enraged, the T-1000 lunged, its blade aimed at Shadow's heart. At the last moment, Shadow used chaos control to teleport himself away, leaving the T-1000 to crash into the vat of sludge. The chrome surface hissed and smoked as the toxic chemicals reacted. The T-1000 thrashed, struggling to escape, but the acid ate away at its metallic form. Liquid metal dripped from its dissolving body. Shadow watched, his eyes narrowed. He knew the T-1000 was incredibly durable, but even it had its limits. Slowly, agonizingly, the T-1000's movements slowed. Its form buckled and warped, becoming less and less humanoid. Finally, with a final sputter of dissolving metal, it ceased to function, sinking into the toxic depths. Shadow stood silently for a moment, ensuring the threat was neutralized. He knew it was likely not the last machine he would face. But for now, the warehouse was silent once more. He turned, disappearing back into the shadows, leaving only the lingering smell of metal and chemicals in his wake. His mission, whatever it may have been, continued. And he, the ultimate life form, was ready.